According to the CDC, participation in sports is on the rise for kids, which is great, but it also means there are more injuries, especially when it comes to youth sports. We've got Dr. Jacob Fletcher and Marcella here joining us to talk about injuries and how to treat them. Good to have you both. Thank you, Marcella, for coming in. High five.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
She plays soccer, by the way. So, Doctor, let's talk about injuries. You have to see a ton of these kids that, you know, maybe an innocent sprain turns into something bigger.
Yeah, well, kids are playing more sports, they're playing longer, they're playing year-round, and so we're seeing a big uptick in these injuries. And so it's important to be smart about when these injuries do happen. You know, first off, taking the proper time to rest and don't play through pain.
Yeah.
That may mean missing a practice, that may mean missing some game, but so that it doesn't turn into a chronic issue.
Because if you have something small and you keep aggravating it, it could become worse. Now, Marcella, did she have injuries?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, from playing soccer all the time, I had a really sore back. And
well, that's old people stuff. You can't be having that.
I know. That's what I was like. I'm like, I'm 12.
So did you get treated by Dr. Fletcher?
Yeah, and then I was back in soccer. And,
yeah. And what was with her? I mean, what did you guys do for that?
Yeah, so what we found is that when the pain persists, it's often a structural issue, and that's what we found with Marcella, is looking at her pelvis and the lower part of her spine. As a chiropractor, I'm interested in the structure, and that was locked up and it wasn't moving, and she was using her body on a regular basis, and it was turning into a chronic thing. So when things like, you know, ice, obviously ice is something that we can use for those little injuries, but if that pain is persisting past, you know, 5-7 days of icing, that's when it's important to go to a health professional that deals with youth injuries and can properly assess.
You feel good now, right?
Yeah, I feel great.
Good to hear. So how do you know when it's something that's bigger than just a sore neck that can be treated with ice? How do you know? Is it just long term if it keeps persisting?
Well, yeah, I think if the child keeps talking about it, if they're impeded in their play after a week or longer, then it's something that's important to you know, go to a chiropractor that is dealing with injuries, or your physician or a physical therapist, someone that can assess this injury to look at the structure.
Well, and sometimes you don't know who to go to, right? Do you go to your physician? Do you go to a chiropractor, or as you mentioned, a physical therapist? How do you know which one to go to?
Well, and that kind of depends on what professionals you work with.
Yeah.
You know, the key is get to someone. If people come into my office and it's right up our alley, then we'll take care of them. And we also have a network of professionals that we work with that if we need to refer out, we will do that as well.
Awesome. Wellbeing's Chiropractic is his office. You guys are out in Lakewood, right?
That's correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nice job. I'm glad you're better.
Yeah.
How's soccer season going?
It's going great,
Good.
yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Doctor, thank you so much for coming in. Let's get over to meteorologist Greg Dutra, who often sustains injuries.